future and the future of the unborn child, the future of the next generation, and the future of the next generation of Barbados is under threat under the Democratic Labour Party. And if you don't make that decision for your future, Barbados will be Barbados no more. It is not a joke. I can pass actors now, and the old lady coming to me and I want to think about the Democratic Labour Party, and I think of May the 24th. One sound comes to mind. I said, I asked him, what is that? He says, born by partisans. Give me back the government that I had before. And he cried, she cried because she understands the pain and suffering of this Democratic Labour Party government. She can't take it no more. Get it back, Neil Motley. Give her back, Ray Strong. Give her a turn in the South. Give her to do good. And I said to you, the Bible tells you a purpose. Do good, and good should attain it. Ladies and gentlemen, I know the people of my church best will do good because they understand that good will attain them for the next 5-10 years whenever not to do good. And I am saying to ladies and gentlemen, we have to feel serious about the next. We have to understand and tell the young people in Barbados that the decision they make will determine their future. We have to let them understand that the decision they make is a decision that will determine Barbados for the next 20 years, the next 30 years, trust me, for the damage is already done. And I can say today, ladies and gentlemen, because I like to sing, I'm not a karaoke. I never pretend to be any person who has vocal abilities, but I can tell you all something. There's a song by Rest Bread last night. The country sick. The country bad. Look at friend that help me and you can tell. Look at that carefully, examine it, and you would agree with me, something's terribly wrong with this country. But we have the surgeons to fix it. We have none other than an economist by the name of a young man, a brilliant mind. And when I sit down and study Ray Strong, and I sit down and look at his economic policies and his plans, and the way how he is able to mammothate the things that he thinks about, and how he is able to put them on paper. The brilliance of the man, I'm saying to you, along with me and Mamoni, a lady who is far beyond her time. And when I say so, when me and Mamoni sit down for a plan to paper, you can say that it's a plan that requires the vision and the future of somebody who is 20 or 30 years ahead of her time. And I am proud to say, ladies and gentlemen, me and Mamoni come the 24th. The Prime Minister like to talk about history. He like to use a lot of big words, history, because the Oxford Dictionary tells us that history is when you do something for the first time. I am saying to you, ladies and gentlemen, for the first time, history will be created on the 24th of March, when Mia Body will become the first female Prime Minister of this country. And I am saying to you, ladies and gentlemen, you all as ladies in this room should be proud of the fact that a lady finally will take on the responsibility of governing this country. And I say so, ladies and gentlemen, as a man staying here on the platform who is willing, who is able, who is ready to be led by the next, the 10th wonder of the world in Mia Motley. And I'm telling the people in Vauxhall, I realize that every single minute they like flashing off and on. That is a sign of the ills of this constituency. I can't even get a light right. But Ray Strong will fix it because under our new manifesto plans, there is an infrastructure developmental plan that we are going to spend money to ensure that places like where we are staying right now have proper lighting. Ray has spoken about the fact that Vauxhall is a dark place. They had dark representation, and we know, ladies and gentlemen, he will bring the light to this constituency. I am saying today, ladies and gentlemen, nobody chooses that the showers of blessing. I remember all of Vauxhall in event. What I'm saying tonight, ladies and gentlemen, and understand me very carefully, the roads in Vauxhall will be rebuilt, they will be rebuilt by the Barbados Labour Party, they will be rebuilt by, because the transport is going to champion the cause for the people of Vauxhall. Ray Strong was part of the economic plan move pension now on the brother. I want to pay. I want to pay to that me. I have customers and but I say, I am familiar with the fact that Ben Strong has put his muscles behind a plan, and I say it again, I can repeat. Ryan Strong has put his muscles, he has put his hand, he has put his brain behind their plans to move pensioners. And I see a lot of elderly persons in the crowd, those in the twilight of their years. Ryan Strong has put their plan in place so that you will move from the $155 measly that you were getting to $225 on the Barbados level party so that you can get the supermarket and shop. You can get some chicken, you can get some lamb, you can get some turkey, you can put a little macaroni in there if you want fluorescent. When you put the floor, you can get a little fluorescent too. And if, ladies and gentlemen, you want a black eye, if you want a black eye to put the Democratic level party in the 24th, you get a big one. Get some money, get a garbage bag, because maybe what we're going to do is we're going to put all of the Democratic level party members in it and cast them away from Barbados. I am saying today, ladies and gentlemen, we have a very serious decision. This decision is a decision that you cannot take for granted. You cannot take this decision lightly. I want you all to remember that when you start doing the wrong things, it gives the right things the opportunity to catch up. I am saying to you, ladies and gentlemen, the 24th, give the right things the opportunity to catch up because they want you to go and make the right decision at the polls. And that right decision is a vote for Ryan Strong, the economist, to rescue this country. I am saying the right decision is a vote for none other than Adrian, the medic Ford, who has the right myself for Christ Church by Central. And I can say it today, I said it already. Christ Church by Central, have no fear. Medic to the rescue is here. Medic to the rescue is here and is here to stay. My neighbor swing was very short, a little more east, sorry, a little more west of this area here in Sergeant's Village. I ran over here with Ethan. I learned hard work from working the lawnmower with Ethan because I understand how it is to work and achieve something. He who knows it, who feels it, sorry, knows it. And I felt the importance of being independent. That is why I have led a crusade to make sure that all the young people that they come in contact with have a future. That all the young people understand with the wherewithal that you can make your own money, that you can have disposable income, that you can support your family. And that's what Ethan taught me. That is what Ethan Lane taught me. I walked out with a lawnmower all over the world. I've been able to see parapet in Sunday's game. And I learned how to mow lawns. I learned how to rake. I learned to pick up the grass and put in garbage bags and put in garbage cans to make an honest dollar. Because Ethan understands how to make things happen. You understand by hard work. The Bible tells us by the sweat of thy brow, they shall earn until you go back to the land. And you understand the principle of hard work. And that was imbued on me as a young man by none other than Ethan and the Lane family. I spent a lot of my weekend days. I spent a lot of my weekend days right here with the Lane family. And I understand how it is to work hard to achieve your goals. Just in the same way that Ryan spent a long time as a kid being nurtured, being prepared for his role in this country. It happenstance that he came into political life. It is not something that was given to him because he has some type of aristocratic connection. It is not a dynasty. It wasn't passed down through the channels. Ryan Strong contributed in every facet of it. Whether it is banking, whether it is finance, whether it's putting numbers together, understanding that 20 is not greater than 80. Ryan Strong understands numbers. And he has worked hard and has succeeded in every single sphere he into. I am saying it, I am proud to be walking at his side. Ladies and gentlemen, you need to embrace him. You need to be proud of him because you have a jewel. And you have a diamond. You have to carry that diamond. You have to walk that diamond straight in the third oldest parliament in the Commonwealth. And that diamond is none other than Ryan Strong. And you know, you think about it, I'm not surprised that he has these good qualities. Being honest with you, because my name is Adrian Ryan Bennett Ford. I I don't know if I think I was born a couple of days before he saw he took me again. Not the other way around. Rain must be returned. And this same level of support I'm seeing everywhere I go in Christchurch and Central. This same level of support must continue right through Kingsland. It must continue throughout the Habitat Village. It must continue throughout Lodge Road. When you come down Watton, you must give it the support. When you come to Water Street, giving your support. But don't care where any constituency you come from, you must give Brian Sean that support, that opportunity, so he can help bring this economic plan to reality. Ladies and gentlemen, I understand because I have other engagements, and I understand you need to support my importance for what that is what is our I understand support one another. I just want to leave one little thing with Brian Shaw, and it comes straight from Christchurch Girls School, because I made a visiting the other day. Unlike other persons who just goes around with the education. I visited the school and I learned a little something from the students. It is their motto. I persevere. I try does great things every day. I can't get nothing done. Be sure then that you say, I'll try and leave. I can't alone. I want you to allow Restaurant to leave the word I can't alone, because when the 24th of this month hits, Restaurant will become the next representative of the constituency of Christchurch East Central. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you. Have a wonderful evening. God bless you. The rain is falling. I know it's going to be a blessing. I thank you. I thank you. Thank you.
That when the Babylon Labour Party promises something to the
Good night to the residents of Vauxhall and all of the surrounding districts. Good night to the fine people of Christchurch Central. Thank you for having me in your community as I come to speak to you briefly in support of the campaign of Renston and the Barbados Labour Party. I bring you warm greetings from your sister constituency across the border in Christchurch. And I'm happy to report that Dr. William is not just doing good, he is doing very, very well. He has asked me to ask you to grant him his special favor. He wants you to ensure that he has the pleasure of sitting in the government benches of our parliament in the company of Mr. Renston for at least the next 5 years. At the last appearance on the political platform, I spoke about the record of the Barbados Labour Party. And if I may crave your indulgence, I want to start on that same theme today. I feel that it is important that everyone understands the critical role this Barbados Labour Party has played in the development of this country. We should all be aware of the excellent contribution that the FA has made in transforming Barbados into the modern society it is today. Every Barbadian should know that for 80 years, the Barbados Labour Party has been the wheel upon which this country turns. 80 years ago, our founders determined that Barbadians could do better, that Barbadians deserve better, and at great personal risk and sacrifice, they set about the task of building the democracy that we all know and enjoy. I want tonight to simply remind you that no political party, old or new, has fought for you and stood like the Barbados Labour Party. We have been criticized, and yes, we have faced defeat. But we never lost our faith in the Barbados dream. We never lost our belief in the Barbados dream. The Democratic Labour Party is fighting a bitter battle. They realize that they cannot stand on their own performance, so they will try to diminish or devalue the legacy of the deal. They will curse and vilify our leader and our winning. I want to say to them that we have nothing to be ashamed of. Our record is outstanding. The Barbados Labour Party makes this country work. Our democracy is now under threat because the band of brigands whom you place your faith in not once but twice in the last 10 years. They are attempting to systematically erode and remove the rights and freedoms that you have become accustomed to. Randall and his teams have made a real effort to install our purpose. To set us back, they have reduced our access to education. They are selling out our assets. They have branded our treasury. And they have paid us time and time again. They praise themselves for a job well done by the economy. Yet the government central bank informed us that the economy contracted by 0.7% in the first quarter of this year. When you compare that with the downgrades, the multiple failed recovery plans, and the budgets that have been poor and uncertain, you have to ask yourself what the definition of the good job has changed in the last 10 years. To say the country is fine, that Barbadians are living well, I'm convinced that they fly from the hip and fly up immediately after. Because, see, they dream, or rather the Barbados that they speak about, is not the Barbados that we all live in. Their reality is not our reality. Clearly, they do not feel the impact of the NSRL as it has on our households. Where we can no longer go into the supermarket and buy a product because of its $55 something. We have to be careful because we have to stretch the dollar to ensure that everybody gets a little something to go. The Democratic Labour Party sees such and understand that households and communities in Barbados are suffering because of how they chose to manage this country and work general here. They have assaulted and beaten every aspect of our living because of basic necessities of our children. Mathematics can no longer get thankfully and no because they depend upon consistency and it's not because they cannot get. They have destroyed the family to such an extent that diabetics cannot get the medication that they use in 7 years, medication that would have made life easier for them and might even have added a few more years to their life. The normal man in the street, like many of us here, can't forget about government housing because it is out of their pocket. And many of these houses, all of us scattered about by days, are either empty or unfinished. They have strangled the public service. To the extent that morale in the public service is so it is at an all-time low. I can tell you about that because I did chair club. I work in the public service. And I have many friends across the service who I have been contacting regularly. And they're not motivated. They are frustrated. They struggle with sick buildings and they have not had a raise, as he said, for 10 years. And let me tell you something. They are suffering at the pit. They cannot wait till they're all over this land. All of it. There's evidence of suffering, disgruntlement, uncertainty. And in all these circumstances, there's a mark of the democratic. Yet they go around trying to convince themselves that they've done well by the people back. They've forgotten that we know how to live well. They've forgotten that before this reign of terror, we have lived under the management of the Babylonian democracy, and all of us live well. Now let me tell you, let these 10 years, the last 10 years, were so great. Why is it that the minister is talking about asking us not to judge the work of the party during the last 10 years, judge them by the work of their predecessors? This democratic party seems not but Cameroon and Barrow in hand. Barrow has to be in and basically, my dad said that when he is partnering anyone, he wants to make it by minister, but he calls it by the spirit of Barrow. And I tell you, Barrow has certainly achieved it. Time in office of this democracy has been characterized by heavy tax, job loss, rising unemployment, societal decline. They've had many marches and protestations. They have a preferred group that they give jobs and contracts to. Political patronage. Unfairness. Because they unfair many people in national contribution to fishing. Betrayal. And most of our lives, they are the greatest liars that any government of Barbados has ever seen. To think that like the right person in that regard. Never before in all my years have I heard the word corruption so associated with the government. We must not forget the last thing. And we must not forget those people who brought this country to peace. We must let them in before the right. The greatest danger to this country lies in a man called Vauxhall Constituency. He has presided over the worst period of living in Barbados since the 1957. The man is devoid of any leadership or management skills. He is aloof and condescending. He is was not for 1 more day. Far less like 4 years. But what is the book? Is the damage that he's doing to the band, the legacy of the country. This man supported the member of parliament who unlawfully withheld the money of the city. He encourages the violent rebel use of our outstanding women. He stands loyally behind the man who tampered and used the savings, the investment, the nameless life of thousands of Barbadians in front of stand with it, saying that he was a leper. This action reminds me of our bosses like Al Capone and John Gotti. We all got to go together. We got to face God's great wisdom. There is no right future under the leadership. I believe that many in his party are not aware of that. His desire to make history has already been realized, but for a very different reason. You see, he is already, and he wants to be proud of this. He is already the worst by many in this country that has ever had. I am thoroughly excited, ladies and gentlemen, by the prospects of the aborting gay right. She is well aware that much is required and expected from her. She is aware that her task may be greater than that faced by any of previous leaders of this country. She has prepared herself very well. She has had 10 years of observing what a leader should not be. Her team is blessed with experience, with you believe it or not, and we are making your own soon. When Scott is an important member of that team, give him the beer, give him the Barbados, and let us put them to work. I want to end because we said your choice is crystal clear. If you want to stop the bleeding and make this country yours again, if you want to set Barbados back on the path for both prosperity and peace, we must claim all of the fruits that we did in 1989. You must vote for Rhinestone and set the tone for a resounding victory for the Beyond Barbados Party in this election. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Everybody know, come get a board. We're taking your more heavy load. Let me come together and make things better. No, we're ready for the road. No one else drama. No, get on board with me. It's one big family and we're rolling with DLB. Hey, take it out, we're rolling. Take it out, we're moving. Take it out, we're working. And we're building. Tell me how you're feeling. You know, all our way to DLB. All our way to family. All our way to DLB. All our way to the problem is that we have been making
ladies and gentlemen, constituency research central, especially the Vauxhall area. I started by saying that I would go through parts of the manifesto with you, just in case you have a time to read your it. And there's a section where it talks about what's in it for me. And it talks about books at a glance. One of the things it talks about women in industrial estates. And it says that space in industrial estates will be converted into private sector operated their nurseries, co-workers, and industrial estates and others needed facilities for their children. Widows, young widows, I mean, we would hope that we don't have a lot of them. Young widows under 40 can now get pension of their deceased husbands. I know and I hope that you will have your husband for a long time, but just in case that happens, you now have the comfort of knowing that there is some income coming from somewhere else. Domestic violence, it talks about domestic violence and early intervention, community-based counseling, anger management, and conflict resolution classes. I know that these conflict resolution classes and anger management classes are things that are done in North America, especially in Canada. And it will provide support for the victims and their families, and the abusers will also provide the abusers will also receive counseling and the necessary punishment if so be. So as I go on, I will look at the families and talk about homeowners and parents, talk about the basic income earners. It has a section for men, so we have the Barbara Labour Party in their manifesto. They have looked at all the members of the community and how they can fit them into any program which they have to plan. So they have not left out anybody because they've not looked at the children, they've looked at abuse. And as we go through the night, I will continue to give you little snippets of the manifesto. At this point in time, I will ask Mr. Brooks to speak with you. Mr. Brooks is the office manager. He has a wealth of experience in campaign management with the Barbados Labour Party. He's also into disaster management as well. They used to be civil, they changed it to DAMS, disaster something management, but they wanted it to be DAMS for sure. So tonight I bring you Mr. Brooks, who will speak to you for a period of time. 7.
Anybody can't hit the ball. People can't pay the rent. But they would say, them is the worst. 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 Look, bitches, we got to get rid of them cause Chris and Fran, them me your friend when I look. Try and get rid of them, not another 5 years. Never again, bitches. We got to get rid of them cause Chris and Fran, them me your friend. Good night, people of Vauxhall. I'm going to share a few words from this before because two speakers who will be coming soon after me. And your candidate is currently speaking on other platforms. And you could appreciate that everybody wants to hear the message of Barbados Labour Party. And this is a demonstration that this party, the Barbados Labour Party, has a cadre of persons who are willing and able to deliver to this country what is needed. So there's no problem for me to come and share a few words with you on behalf of my show. But what I want to start, ladies and gentlemen, is the contrast between the Barbados Labour Party and the Democratic Labour Party. And I want to take you back for the last couple of days. You are seeing that the Barbados Labour Party and the Democratic Labour Party launched their respective campaigns. And I'm quite certain many of you would have gone to Vauxhall Constituency, and you would have seen what the Barbados Labour Party was able to produce. A mixture of performers and a delivery from our political leader, Vauxhall,
and the speakers from the Barbados Labour Party, some of them, and we were able, ladies and gentlemen, to get the attention and the imagination of the people of this country as we started, and as we started, to speak about some of what is within our manifesto. And I'm quite certain there were over 30,000 people who came to that launch, left that meeting with some level of satisfaction that the Barbados Labour Party was bringing a program that people would have been glad to hear, and it offers some hope and opportunity for the people of this country. But I also want you to remember what happened on the other side. We had the Democratic Labour Party forgive me, there been sports before I did it. The number I said that is the scatter voice what we call it the same. But as I continue, what we saw coming from the other side was a campaign launch that was used specifically to discredit our political leader. And as I look around this audience here and those persons within the sound of this microphone, what heavily influences the vote every time we vote in this country is the women vote. And I'm quite certain you know that. Give yourself an applause for that. But when you can get a political party that will set or will go to the depth that the Democratic Labour Party went to address our political leader and to speak of the verbal diarrhea, speaker after speaker after speaker, they thought that the intent of the people that within 3,000 or 4,000 persons that was ladies and gentlemen, if it is not only the people of this country who must decide that when you see two political parties who presented the launch of their candidates, and you find that the Barbados Labour Party offered you suggestions and solutions on how we will curb this problem that we are currently facing, and the ruling government and their ministers for the country with only one thing: abuse after abuse after abuse. One would have thought that after having the opportunity to lead this country over the last 8 years, and they know that all has not been well, that they would have at least come and ask for some level of forgiveness and offer you the opportunity by bringing some ideas that could have engaged you so that you could have possibly said, well, let's get into it. Ladies and gentlemen, do they deserve another chance? And the question that we have to ask, how did this country get back to the situation that we are in today? It is not the immortality of the Barbados Labour Party that has caused this country to be where it is today. Because in 2008, when we left office, this country was working. People were working. The various sectors in this country, even although may not have been functioning at 100%, it was mannered, and people were enjoying a certain standard of living that they have been fitted us as Barbadians, and the reputation that we have gained over the last couple of years as a small country punching above its weight. Have you not heard those statements? And not from Barbadians. This has been statements that has been echoed from people from overseas, because Barbados was the envy of the Caribbean. And based on what we did, so this small 170 schools with a resource. We don't have the gold and the bauxite and everything else that the other countries have. All we have is our human resource and some level of agriculture and some level of tourism. So ladies and gentlemen, my first question tonight is that when any member of the Democratic Labour Party, be it in Christchurch and Central or any other constituency in this country, comes to you and asks you for their vote, or asks you to support them, the question that you have to ask them, what have you done for me lately? What have you done for me over the last 8 years? And what have you done for this country over the last 8 years? I want persons in this country to recognize where we are right now. Agriculture is down. I have a very dear family friend of mine that from school days, his family earned a living and he was able to enjoy secondary education at the school which I went to. And there are agricultural based family that is normal. You know why? Because if you live in the parish of St. John and make a note of that, and you have to depend on the agriculture industry, and that family was what we call a small cane farm. And by the introduction of one sugar factory in this country, wiped out all of the profits that we had made because its transportation costs went far beyond what it was able to. So we don't know the agriculture industry is being ruined. But you know what stands for us to lose tremendously on the international market? Can you understand that Barbados in the 2018, with the reputation of having one of the best or a series of best runs throughout the country and throughout the world, that, ladies and gentlemen, is a threat. Right? Because if the Barbados is not able to understand what is happening in this country, that the friendly market and those big conglomerates who have taken over Mount Game and Mr. Field up in St. Philip having to import from us a commodity that we used to export. Take note. Let us look also within the manifesto, because I haven't had the opportunity to really peruse this. Because I believe, ladies and gentlemen, from this platform, sponsored on behalf of Ryan Strong, you will realize for every person who has spoken on this platform since we started some 3 weeks ago, did not go to the depth of the Democratic Labour Party in the sluggish and the cussing and the innuendo. We have stuck to the issues because this election is not about the type of utterances that you ever hear from the Democratic Party. It is about, ladies and gentlemen, restoring this country and seeking to get your confidence that the Barbados Party is the party of choice at this moment. You can also recall that last year, when this document, the Covenant of Hope, was introduced to this country, one thing that I marvel most about this document is that our political leader, and have you not noticed that at the back of our manifesto, there's the signature of each of our candidates? That says that we will be held accountable and we will bring to this country the policies and programs, and with your help, we will restore this country. It means, ladies and gentlemen, the difference between the Democratic Labour Party and the Barbados Labour Party is a group of candidates on the one side who has brought this country to where we are right now. Is that what we want? And on the other side is a group of visionary young ladies and gentlemen, and led by our political leader, and the persons with the magnitude and the talent and the skills of Ryan Strong in economics, and Marsha Cattle, who will be coming to this platform shortly, and a whole host of young entrepreneurs and persons who have demonstrated that they have the capacity and the ability to deliver what we need to restore this country. That is what we have on the inside. And that is what we are asking each and every one of you in this country, and all you people here in Vauxhall, that when you go to the polls on the 24th of this month, your choice is very strong. And throw the left and right for this country. The people's choice has to be, and I encourage him to be, that of the Barbados Labour Party's candidate in the first 30 constituencies of Greater Vauxhall. You know there's a man created history by 2 elections having captured more seats. I am not going to tell you that I would like to secure all 30 seats. But if you had to name one person on the Democratic Labour Party to give them an opportunity to be returned to the House Assembly, which one will you choose? Can you understand that we have sunk to the level that the general public in this country cannot identify with one single member of the Democratic Labour Party who is worthy of being restored to Parliament? I got a phone call last night. A very good friend of mine lives in Vaughan, and he was returning from the library. You know what that is? He's coming with Buxy. Oh, what I'm not going to use the language that he used. But what did they say that is happening here? I just spoke to 3 young men. One with a bike, putting on a range phones, posters in, and 2 people putting on theirs. And when we stopped and spoke to those youngsters and said, you know what you're doing is not legal? I am not going to tell you the verbal assault that was mentioned. Ladies and gentlemen, in this constituency, our opponent have sunken to the level of defacing our posters, pulling them down, and what for? Is it that because for the first time that he has recognized that Christchurch essential residents no longer see him as a pragmatic representative? Is it that the campaign being led by Ryan Sean is offering you, the people of this constituency, an alternative for a better life? Is it, ladies and gentlemen, that they are so decrepit in their ways that they are seeking to return that man from false pretenses? Let us stay the course. Do not get involved in any activity that will bring our campaign into this, because we must demonstrate to the people of this country that the Barbados Labour Party way of doing things is by speaking to the people, gaining their confidence, bringing a series of programs, initiatives, and ideas that will create the opportunity not only for the elderly people in this country, because they're going to speak to that in a minute, but for those young people who have lost hope. The whole 4,000 or 5,000 people who would look forward to this year of entering the university with some hope in the future of acquiring the level of qualifications that they want to pursue a particular career, their hopes has been dashed right. I want to urge you, because we have copies of this manifesto here. And when I say this manifesto, the manifesto of the Barbados Labour Party. And each and every one of you who are wearing one of these shirts should be able to take one of these tonight and feel a sense of pride with the contents of this document, because it demonstrates that the Barbados Labour Party, led by our political leader Mayor Motley, and a series of our candidates have the solutions and the ideas to restore this country. But I want to caution you, ladies and gentlemen, what is needed to restore this country is not only the Barbados Labour Party, it is you in the various constituencies across this country who have to play your part. It means that we must change our attitude. It means that we must find a new way of doing things. It means that people must understand that it's not the 30 parliamentarians from whichever political party they are drawn from that has the responsibility of keeping this country afloat. It means that certain attitudes that currently exist, we need to relook, we need to reshape, and we need to do things differently. It is not the economic crisis that the Democratic Labour Party has exposed over the last 8 years that is contributing significantly to what we are today, because St. Lucia, Guyana, can you imagine Haiti, one of the countries of the Caribbean area, who has been petered and battered and whatever by natural disasters that has crippled our country, and they will still yet record the semblance of growth last year, and we are recording 0 points. cost of living in this country has risen significantly over the last year. And with an increase in the cost of living and not having the opportunity for persons to benefit from a wage increase, you could understand that inflation is not balanced. And within this, our political leader, Mayor Moulton, stressed at the opening of the launch of our campaign that she will, at the earliest of the opportunities on the tail of this government, will reopen the negotiation process between unions with some level of understanding that they will come to a compromise and therefore some level of is expected thereafter or as soon as possible. Ladies and gentlemen, that deserves a vote of thanks. Right? Was under the current administration, all the unions have worked to the level of promises, use, promises, and numbers. Ladies and gentlemen, if there's any one thing that we must commend the Barbados Party is that they are willing to open negotiations so that you, the people of this country, can look for some level of. And she has gone a bit further. She said that if under a specific time that negotiations cannot be completed because of the process, she will give an allowance. Now, ladies and gentlemen, and I know the Democratic Party have often said that their manifesto is not a super program. But I'm quite certain for those persons who have journeyed with us over the last years, there are many things that in our manifesto that we have kept. And the promise is a comfort to it. But when you look at a covenant, the covenant is a different concept. It means that we will do what we say we can do because we have signed. The covenant says that we will be held accountable for our actions. So that should mean something. It is not just a promise. It is a pledge. Health issues. In this area of this constituency, I'm quite certain there are no health issues. I will speak of my personal experience. My mother is 89 years old. I lost my dad 3 years ago. So I know what it is. I know what it is. The journey to the hospital, the journey to the doctor, the journey to the pharmacist, and the journey to wherever medical relief can be had. You know what has happened over the last 4 years? The medication that I use, the medication that I seek, if available for my mother, is for her treatment. And if it has impacted me, I know it's good. But if it has impacted me, I know it has impacted you as well. And what is disturbing about that is that the substitution of the medications that we are now being thrown at us, many of which are generic in their nature and also are not compatible with one another, is also giving a number of side effects that is creating health problems. And all the ladies and gentlemen, we are mostly at the launch, and I further said in Kingston, stand out political corruption. That sound familiar? That is part of the process why we are where we are now. And we have pledged to the people of this country that we will seek to stand up. You know, I saw on the candidate for pledging to the people in the city that he is going to do this, and he's going to do that. He's going to do the things, and he's going to do this, and the fire is going to come on stream within the first year or so of the new democratic. Ladies and gentlemen, you have a parliamentary representative not too far from this constituency that told you 4 years ago that So therefore you have a member of the Democratic Party pledging to people in his constituency that he's going to do this and he's going to do that. Right? If any of the party in the city, the choice is permanent. The choice is the bargain. Let us continue. It is very important, ladies and gentlemen, that we recognize what is happening in segregation in this country. We all have spoken briefly there about the university fees and our pledge to restore what was before, that your children would then be able to gain entry into university in the manner of which they did before, meaning they would not have to pay the significant fees which they paid children. So let us move off from the university and see what's happening in our primary and secondary schools. Could you not recall last year that within the stroke of 4 weeks, we had some catastrophic disasters in 4 of our standards, here at night, flights, several flights. We all the current representative of this constituency, zip was on this list. No more from current representative of this constituency making the school to the fact that violence in the schools have escalated. There's no person that lives in this country can say different to that. But you are expected, not only as the parliamentary representative at this, but as the minister of education, to address the issue, even if you cannot stop it immediately, but Christ, come to the people of this country, not only the people of Christchurch Central, and declare what are your plans going forward in the future. What did we get? That the person has not even empathize or sympathize with the family of those young students. Because young people, I was young at one point in time, not a fan. I was not like I think I'm saying anything. And we know in our growing up, we all have done wicked things. I am not going to tell you thousands of wicked things I have done. We all have done. But that is the nature and the process of developing and growing up. But what kept me in check was the mere fact that there was rules and regulations for them to force them to have so therefore, ladies and gentlemen, as a minister of education, one would have expected that he would have come to this country and acknowledged the situation. And then, even if he could not have found formidable solutions to solve them, at least to ask the people, help me solve them. Because becoming a minister does not mean that you always have all the solutions. And that is the problem that with this bunch of politicians, that because they have been elevated, they have been selected, they have been voted, because they are MPs, does not mean that you have within the small space between the two little ears. There is evidence that there's nothing that rests between the ears of many of them. The most they could have done is to ask the people of this country to come together in various forms. You see me, a wonderful, a brilliant woman. You know what she has done? She has implemented a process that she called rubbish release. And you know what she was only open to do with that? Meeting people in various subsectors of this country and asking them, tell me what you think. Tell me what you think to solve this problem. Because she has recognized that as brilliant as she is, and as brilliant as the other candidates that we have, we cannot have all the solutions. Because we can't be everything to everybody. But by sharing the experiences of people and getting the advice, it means you have a collective of ideas and a collective of decisions and ideas that can help you to formulate a proper solution to our problem. What I want to tell you, people meetings, we want you to stick with Ryan. Consult with him. Share your ideas. And also be part of the solution and be part of the decisions that is going to create a level of hope and opportunity in this constituency that will help you to restore the quality of life that you so deserve. And if that concept can be replicated throughout the left and right of this country, I'm saying to you, I also want to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that Brent Sean, I've had the opportunity over the last 3 years to be working within this campaign. And even although every campaign may have an issue here and there, you know what keeps me focused on the 24th? The commitment that he is offering to this country. Now, this is over 30 years of experience working in campaigns in this province. I'm telling you that he has demonstrated to me to be one of the most worthy of the candidates. You know why? Because in depth of his guts, he wants to see and he has this passion for the young people. So when our mini manifesto comes out, I want every and everyone to be young people to get a copy of it. Because within that mini manifesto speaks to a number of initiatives of creating the opportunity and creating that atmosphere that our young people can create. And not only create the ideas and develop the ideas that they have, but also to come together in a conglomerate of young people and formulate solutions towards not only resolves and problems that people have, but also to have the opportunity to develop your business and your ideas to the betterment of yourself. This country is dependent on the young people. Person at my age, 21 years old, but you, the younger people, needs that opportunity. And Brian proposes to them many, 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 many times. I am not necessarily a speaker, so I did not prepare a wealth of content for any speech. But we have in this management team that is working with Brian Strong, there's a multiplicity of talents and skills that we will continue to rise to the occasion and make sure that this platform, on behalf of Ryan Strong, offers you, the people of this constituency, the ideas and the solutions and the consultation process that you will feel comfortable voting for Ryan Strong. And as I leave you, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to urge you that wherever we set up our platforms throughout this constituency, come out and support us. It is not easy. Right now I cannot see you in the audience because the lights are upon me. But it's not easy speaking to 3 or 4 cockroaches for parts that we have seen in some of the meetings. Because the speaker feeds off the feedback and the responses of the people who come. Give him that level of comfort and support that you are supportive of him, you are willing to work with and for him, all in the effort of a collective Christchurch and Central, all formulating the opportunity and hopes for you, the people of this country, to benefit. First, by electing him on the 24th of this month, and by conversely, by electing the Barbados and the Barbados as your duly elected member. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, and continue to enjoy this meeting.
Cost of living rising, foreign resource spinning, and
have to get rid of them. But them who? Well, as I refer to them, Alibaba and the 15 thieves, we have to get rid of them. We talk about the Prime Minister, the Silent Night, talks about creating history. Well, this Barbados Labour Party on the Mayor, Abo Motley, along with Ryan Strawn and the other members, will create history. Because one, you're going to get your first real female Prime Minister who understands, who knows what is going on. And two, the Barbados Labour Party will get all 30 seats. Because nobody wants Alibaba and the 15 thieves anymore. We just can't deal with them anymore. If you look around the Barbados Labour Party, we have all the people to deal with the various issues. We have the economists, we have the lawyers, we have the educators, we have the sheriff from the town, we have everybody. We can't deal with them anymore. All these people tell themselves is that it is time to get rich quick and lie to the people. They ain't even doing like Robin Hood, the more like Alibaba. Tonight now, we have coming to us another qualified economist, another person in the Barbados, a young person in the Barbados Labour Party who understands what it is to plan in a proper way for your community, for your citizens, not haphazard planning, not when you don't know what is up from down or across. We have Marsha Cattle, an economist who has worked with the CDP, and she's worked in other islands, and she's worked across the world on issues. So when the Barbados Labour Party says we have a qualified team, we know what we are going to do. They really know what they're going to do. So I was looking at the manifesto as we go along, and so we are looking at, I'm sure that Marsha is going to talk to you tonight about debt and debt profiling and those kind of things. So Marsha is here. I don't want to take any more of her time, but I will now invite Marsha to come and address you. I thank you, Marsha. Podium for you, dear.
Na 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 na, na 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 na, go away, goodbye. Na 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 na, na na na.
Good night. How's everybody doing? Good. This is a good crowd. I can't see you all, but I believe that you are there. I'm very happy to be here to support my colleague, Ryan Strawn. Ryan and I and the rest of the Barbados Labour Party team have spent a lot of time looking at the things that we need to do as a team, as a Barbados Labour Party government, to get this country working again. Now, I want us to understand, and I say this all the time, that even though we may feel as a Barbados Labour Party that we have it in the bag, that as you look around, how is it possible that anybody or any right-thinking Barbadian could want to vote for the Democratic Labour Party or could want to vote for a third party? But there's something I want us to come to terms with as a Barbados Labour Party family, and those of us as well within the sound of my voice who may not be out on the streets with us tonight. And it is the fact that the last 10 years has really been a lost decade. It has been a decade in which people have been allowed to feel a sense of hopelessness. And I want us to understand that 10 years is a generation. And why do I say that? I say that because we may think that at our ages of 30 and 40 and 50 and 60, we remember when Barbados used to work. We remember when the Well, it is obvious that this Democratic Labour Party government has failed, and it is. It is clear that it has failed. But I want us to understand that it is going to take more than the already converted to bring Barbados back on the 24th of May. We are talking about 10 years of a Democratic Labour Party administration that has allowed people to believe that everybody is the same. And because they have come of age, some of these young people, under this last administration, they have been allowed to wallow in a sense of hopelessness without understanding or appreciating that Barbados used to be better than this. We talk all the time as economists about the crisis of 1994. I'm sure Ryan talks to you about it all the time. I remember it as a student of economics because it was perhaps one of the closest, apart from the 70s, perhaps one of the closest this country has come to feeling a real sense of panic about our economy. Because as we know, the Barbados economy has always been ahead of its time. I just came from Baxter's Road and I was talking about the Tom Adams vision and the fact that Tom Adams understood that Barbados was going nowhere without a big highway to move people and to move people between businesses and homes and to make sure that our commercial sector was thriving. Tom Adams was also the man who understood way before anybody ever started to have the conversation that renewable energy was the way of the future. And it's only decades later that Barbados has really, and the rest of the region have really come back around to the conversation. So this has always been a Barbados Labour Party that has understood economic planning and progress and vision. And so we have that reference. We know of a time when Barbados was doing well, and between 1991 and 94, when we started to see the foreign reserves fall, we all started to panic. And we were afraid. We were afraid because when the Barbados Labour Party came to government in 1994, we had an unemployment rate that was 27.6%. Extremely high. And even though I tend to believe, I don't know about you, but I do not for 1 second believe these unemployment numbers that they are publishing in the newspaper. The Democratic Labour Party does not have the strongest relationship with the truth. And so they are bandying about these numbers and saying unemployment is 10%. I don't know about you all here in Christchurch East Central, but I walk around St. Michael every day. And I can hardly find young people who are working. I can hardly find young people who are working, and more I hear of people in their 40s and 50s who are getting laid off. The person who is running against me in St. Michael South Central, who will soon be given the opportunity to say goodbye to that constituency. He is supposed to be an engineer. And he's the Minister of Tourism. And he, along with his colleagues, have presided over a South Coast sewage mess. I mean, I never thought I would see the day where the streets of the South Coast have moved from a asphalt gray to a dull brown, covered in sewage. And because of that crisis that the Democratic Labour Party has failed to address, businesses are closing down. Every day businesses are closing, and a lot of the people who work in those businesses I have met in St. Michael. They have lost their jobs because this is a government that does not think that this is a crisis. They do not care whether it is affecting the people of Barbados and affecting their employment. But they walk up and down boasting at unemployment numbers of 10 and 10.2% when we know that people are not working. And even if people are managing to hold on to their jobs, where they were working 5 days a week before, they're now working 2 Labour Party came to government, we did have a crisis. We had a foreign reserves crisis. The foreign reserves were low. We had a balance of payments crisis. But what people don't always realize is that that was one problem. We had that one problem. We had that balance of payments crisis as a single economic problem, and we also had the issue of high unemployment. And the Barbados Labour Party came to government and within a year had replenished the foreign reserves back way above the threshold of 12 weeks that we know is what is advised. And within that same year, we had also reduced the unemployment rate from 27.6% to 6%. And so we know that this is a Barbados Labour Party that understands how to fix the mistakes of the Democratic Labour Party, because we have had to come in and do it several times now. And we do it because we love Barbados. But what I want to tell you tonight is that the problems that we are facing today in 2018 are far more severe than the problems we faced back then in 1994, because back then we had a single problem. Our problems were based on a single issue. But in Barbados today, everything is failing. We have a debt problem. And the chairperson before you talked, well, she said I was going to talk about the debt reprofiling, but I am not sure that I will do that tonight. But we have a situation where we are the third highest indebted country in the world. And yes, as part of our manifesto, we have explained that we do have to reprofile the debt. We do have to start having conversations with institutions in this country and beyond about how we can get our debt to sustainable levels and service it in a sustainable way. And we have confidence that we will be able to do that because there are still people who believe in Barbados. There are people who are willing to walk hand in hand with a credible government to fix things in this country. They will not walk hand in hand with a Democratic Labour Party government that has proven time and time again, plan after plan after plan, that they do not know how to manage the economy. People are not going to put their trust or their money in the hands of people like that. You might as well dig a hole and put it in, because you're not going to see any returns. Your money will disappear. You know, I spoke to a young man today who was, we have to be careful of the myths that the Democratic Labour Party puts out there. We have to be careful of them. Because this young man said to me, you know, the reason that the Barbados Labour Party will always do better is because when the Democratic Labour Party is in business, people hold on to their money. Well, you better hold on to yours if you have it, because you can't trust it to these people. He has actually believed the narrative that there is some kind of willful refusal of people to invest in Barbados when the Democratic Labour Party is in. People do not invest in Barbados when the Democratic Labour Party is in because the Democratic Labour Party does not know how to manage an economy. That is the reason. Let us call, they like facts, let us talk some facts tonight. But back in 1994, we had a single problem and we were able to come in and address it. But I want us to understand that in 2018, everything is crumbling. The debt is the third highest in the world. The deficit, even though they try to manage it, is still out of control. People are not working. People have not had, public servants have not had a pay increase in 10 years. People cannot feed themselves. Medication, the prices are through the roof. The NSRL is causing businesses to close across the country. The South Coast is sewage mesh is causing businesses to close in that part of the country. You can't get your garbage collected. You can't get back your income tax. The education system is in a mess. You go at the hospital, you can't all carry your own gauze and your own tea bags and your own toilet paper. Tell me what is working in Barbados. And they have the audacity to put up posters about the country that talking about progress. posters. They got the gall to cover. They have the gall to cover vision and foresight with the likes of Ronald Jones. As if Ronald Jones could possibly obscure the bright light that is Ryan Strachan. Let him know on May 24th that Ryan Strachan is not only a bright light, but a burning flame that will not be extinguished. I want you to show them that with your ex on election day. And they will come to you with all kinds of excuses and all kinds of jokes, suggesting that they have done anything for this country. A minister of education who talks about cracking heads and shooting people. It's your children that he's talking about. And the best performance we have gotten out of Ronald Jones was the other night when he went up on the stage dancing. That's the best performance. And if you saw that, you would know that not even that could pass muster. But I want y'all to help him dance his way right out of Christchurch East Central on May 24th, because we have no further use for him. But ladies and gentlemen, the point is that this election is not about dancing. It's not about sleeping. I heard Liz say the other night that Ronald Jones stopped jonesing and start dribbling up on the people platform. That is how inspired he was by his leader and his minister of finance. But I want us to understand that this election on May 24th is about the survival of Barbados. And I want us to understand that this is not the time for political gamesmanship. This is not the time even for partisan politics. Because while you and I know that the Barbados Labour Party is the best hope for this country, we know that it has always been, in our 80 years of existence, the most visionary set of people with the most thorough ideology about how to take this country forward. We know that. But if we are being honest with ourselves, we will also admit that there has been good leadership on both sides in this country. There has been, at a minimum, a standard of person who saw that their business was about trying to do better for Barbados. At a minimum. And the Barbados Labour Party has always been head and shoulders over anything the Democratic Labour Party could have to offer. But at a minimum, we had a culture of people in this country who were working for Barbados. They didn't always get it right, but they were working for Barbados. In the last decade, I have never seen, in my wildest imagination, I would never believe that we would have the likes of what we have had for the last 10 years in the halls of Parliament. And we saw the worst of it the other night at their presentation of candidates or whatever it was that they had. A group of people that were so ill prepared to present themselves to the country that they didn't even have on the same color shirt. And they want to come and ask for your vote. But they also have no record on which to run. And so the reason they had to go up there and behave like that is because they have no record and they have no vision. They cannot come to you and talk to you about what they're going to do for this country. They would not dare, because they have never had a plan for Barbados. Chris Sinclair, who still apparently is learning it on the job, has come with plan after plan after plan. But I always say that the name of the last plan was the most appropriate, because the BSRP, and you know they're experts at naming things, but the BSRP, I believe, is so named for the first two letters because of the amount of BS contained therein. Because if you look at the plan, there was never any understanding of how to make this economy work again. And after having presided over 23 downgrades, you know, the Minister of Finance of Barbados has distinguished himself as holding the record for the most downgrades that any single Minister of Finance has presided over. That is how he has distinguished himself in this country. And I am amazed. Most of them dare not canvass, but I am amazed when I see them walking up and down the streets of Barbados, because I wonder, and I want you to ask them, on what basis are you asking for my vote? What is it that you have done that means that you deserve my X on May 24th? But ladies and gentlemen, I want you, I know that for those of you out here tonight, that you are supporting Ryan Strong. But I want you to make sure that the whole of Christchurch East Central knows what they have in Ryan Strong. I want that when you get up on polling day, that you don't just bring 1 or 2 or 3 or 5, but that you bring everyone along to make sure that they are part of history, to make sure that they are part of a very decisive defeat and farewell for the Democratic Labour Party. They have to go. And the rain is pouring down at the time when I am also going to wrap up, because maybe it is telling me something. But ladies and gentlemen, I want you to understand that there's no place for complacency. We have to take this country back, and we will. We will be able to, under the stewardship of Ryan Strong and Christchurch East Central, and under the visionary leadership of Mia Motley as the next Prime Minister of Barbados. Ladies and gentlemen, when you go out to the polls on May 24th, vote for progress and transformation. Vote for Ryan Strong. Vote for the Barbados Labour Party. Vote for Barbados. Thank you and good night.
Who them think them fooling? Oh, it's no friend they're talking, them is the worst. Cost of living rising, foreign reserves fading, them is the worst. Look, the agents, we got to get rid of them, cause Chris and Frandel, them in your friend, wanna look. Try and get rid of them, not another 5 years, never again, the agents. We got to get rid of them, cause Chris and Frandel, them in your friend, wanna look. Try and get rid of them. Try and think about when the children and vote them up, vote them up, vote them up. Every day taking bread out your mouth. Vote them up, vote them up, vote them up. Can't buy a fish cake or piece of big snow. Vote them up, vote them up, vote them up. The man tell when they take the handouts back. Vote them up, vote them up, vote them up. Like demons, just cast them out. Cast them out. Cast them out. Just cast them out. Every day taking bread out your mouth. Vote them up, vote them up, vote them up. Every day taking bread out your mouth. Vote them up, vote them up, vote them up. Can't buy a fish cake or piece of big snow. Vote them up, vote them up, vote them up. The man tell when they take the handouts back. Vote them up, vote them up, vote them up. Like demons, just cast them out. When it's not
We do not want them, not them again.
tell me what you want.
Barbados, stand up.
Tell me what you want.
We want new government.
Tell me what you want. Louder. Tell me what you want. Louder. Tell me what you want.
Barbados Labour Party.
Tell me what you want.
Barbados, stand up.
Tell me what you want.
Barbados, stand up.
with them, we want the LP. Let's rebuild this economy. More jobs and opportunity. Them ain't doing nothing for me. We want the LP, cause we need a change. People want new government. Tell me what's the name? B-L-P. Everybody come follow me. We want the LP. B-L-P. This is the right thing for me. What do we need? B-L-P. Louder. B-L-P. Louder. B-L-P. B-L-P. We want new government. Tell me what you want. Tell me what you want. Tell me what you want. Barbados Labour Party. B-L-P. Tell me what you want. B-L-P. Tell me what you want. B-L-P. Louder. B-L-P. Louder. B-L-P. Barbados, stand up. We done with them, we want the LP. Let's rebuild this economy. More jobs and opportunity. Them ain't doing nothing for me. We want the LP, cause we need a change. People want new government. Tell me what's the name? B-L-P. Everybody come follow me. We want the LP. B-L-P. This is the right thing for me. What do we need? B-L-P. Louder. B-L-P. Louder. B-L-P. B-L-P. Barbados Labour Party.
Ladies and gentlemen, constituents of Christchurch Central, and all other supporters, you would have heard speaker after speaker tonight talk about the plans that the Barbados Labour Party has. They have talked about the work that the Barbados Labour Party has done. When you talk about capital projects, you are talking about the Barbados Labour Party. This Democratic Labour Party has not been able to put one good solid capital project in place for persons. When these projects are put in place, work is generated. You would have heard Marsha talk about the Tom Adams era. And let me thank Marsha as she goes on to another meeting for taking the time out to be here. I know it's been a rush for most of them, but we're thankful that they are supporting Ryan. But during the Tom Adams era, if we went back to that era, Tom was quite a visionary leader. And so we saw the inclusion of the banking system, the offshore banking sector, which Tom thought would have been quite useful to uplift the Barbados economy. And that he pursued that. He looked at the capital projects that meant Barbadians would get work, Barbados as a society would improve, and the island on the whole would have an upliftment. So when you see the highway, every time the Barbados Labour Party has good, solid projects, and they lose their government, the Democratic Labour Party scratches them. If you look at the highway, remember when the highway was supposed to have been erected, it was supposed to be 4 lanes either way. But the Democratic Labour Party made all sorts of fuss, including the late Arabara, who thought that it was nonsense and it could not be done. They came in, they cut it back, the highway was built, and then what happens? Barra name goes on the highway. Then the next Barbados Labour Party government looked at the flyovers, they lost the government, the Democratic came in, they scrap it again. And then that's how they operate, full of confusion all the time. I mean, when Mr. Adams was talking about offshore banking and the virtues of it for the Barbados economy, some Barbadians didn't even understand what it was about, because there was a joke about the fellow who thought that Adams was such a great man that he could build banks in the sea. And so the Barbados Adams and the Barbados Labour Party had to go around explaining to the Barbadians what it meant, what offshore banking meant, and how it would affect the economy and the lives of Barbadians. This Democratic Labour Party, they are only about power. And if you remember in 2008, every time the now Minister of Agriculture opened his mouth at a political meeting, his thing was, we want power. He never said, we want to come to government to help. We want power. Their thing was always about power. And so that's why they behave like Alibaba and the 15 thieves, because these crooks will borrow people money And then they don't care about paying it back because they don't feel they have to pay it back. And that's why we are in such dire straits at this point in time in our economy. I tell you that I go back all the time to the 1976 era as well, because I know that public servants benefited greatly from that. So when this Democratic Party now is running to appoint public servants and making people feel that they are doing something great, when the Barbados Labour Party gained the government in 1976, by 1978, all the public servants who were acting for extremely long periods, 7 years, 10 years, 15 years, were appointed to their posts. So the Democratic Labour Party is not doing anything new. What they have been doing is copying the work of the Barbados Labour Party. And it goes as far as when they talk about free education. The free education was started under the Barbados Labour Party. It was not a project started by the Democratic Labour Party. The National Insurance Scheme was conceptualized by the Barbados Labour Party under Grant D. Adams. And Arabara came in and decided that he would not put it in tune until a year after, so that everybody felt it was his idea. So the Democratic Labour Party has always been copying things from the Barbados Labour Party, but they don't copy them well. They tell them what? But what I should say that the Barbados Labour Party always has vision for its people and for the improvement of its people. And if you go back to the manifesto now, I was talking about that earlier, what's in it for me, and I'd gone as far as the women, what's in it for the women when they ask. I look at now what is in it for the men. They said 5,000 unsecured loan for business, opportunities for entrepreneurs, artists, tradesmen, and community-based business, and those in various sectors of the economy. So the Barbados Labour Party has always been thinking of improving people's lot and not just trying to trick them. It talks about special opportunities for mechanics, bodywork men and technicians, new jobs across the economy, paternity leave for fathers unheard of before, counseling for battered men, and we mentioned that earlier, classes in anger management. So we are trying to ensure that we keep families together through these sorts of measures. The seniors have not been forgotten. You're looking at increased pension, and you would have heard our leader speak about it on Thursday night at the launch. Kneeling buses outfitted to carry wheelchairs for elderly and physically challenged. Legislation to protect seniors from all kinds of abuse, physical, financial, sexual, psychological. And you know that some of our senior citizens are really taken advantage of. And the Barbados Labour Party is endeavoring to put an end to that kind of behavior. It talks about expansion of the care of the elderly nursing home program, a program again that was implemented by the Barbados Labour Party, where you have the home helpers who go to the various homes and assist the elderly. It talks about the new community-based care service. Then when you go a little further, the young people, world-class opportunities, strong non-academic training, support with business ideas, new jobs and careers in technology, will be entitled to shares in Barbados Sovereign Wealth Fund and be part of the Global Citizens Program. They will be given seats on school boards. These are young people. 5% of government contracts reserved for young entrepreneurs, and eligible for Genius Award of $250,000. This is no dream. When the Barbados Labour Party says this is what we are going to do, as I said earlier, we don't make promises. Ours are commitments which we carry through. Of course, we deliver whenever we say that's what we're going to do. Let me say here that we are asking all of you to support Mayor Amor Motley and her team. So we need you not to say that you want to go to the polls and vote for a strong opposition, because we have people in Barbados who many of the time say, oh, we're going to vote for opposition. But you know, when you vote for an opposition, I warned you already what you get. When you go voting for a strong opposition, you get a weak government a lot of the times, and then you are sorry. I have no qualms in saying that when you go to the polls on May the 24th, and you get there early as well, ensure that whenever you put an X, wherever you put the X, it has to be next to Ryan Strong's name for the Barbados Labour Party. And if you're on the other side of here of Vauxhall, on Christchurch West Central, it has to be for Medic Ford. And if you are further in the south, you have Ralph Thorne. And when we go to the east, you have Abrams. Abrams is basically running against a half-dead man. So you cannot put in a half-dead man because you have an election soon again. you must come back then, and you know that on our borders, you have what Dugit is. Dugit, see, I am venturing to say that Dugit has no competition in Christchurch West. So I am even asking you, because I know that whoever from there going to see Dugit and Dugit alone. And when you go a little further up, you have John King, who's bordering on us. John King is bordering on us. And all the people that John King is talking about, the time has come for us to get rid of the custom ministers. We don't want any custom ministers in Parliament. Oh, you can go overseas and face the international community where you got ministers who should be leading people cussing. All they can do is cuss on the platform. Big, ugly men standing on the platform cussing people. They got to go, they got to go. We can't keep them. We can't keep them. Our aim in this election is to ensure that Barbados gets a good government, a proper government led by a real strong woman. The song says, put a woman in front. And you know women. Women know, they know how to cut and contrive. They know how to lead. They're not afraid. Real strong women are not afraid. So I am told that our next representative, Ryan Strong, is now here. Ryan has been speaking all over. And Ryan, I don't have to introduce Ryan to you anymore, because you would have met him many times. You know what he stands for. You know that in the Barbados Labour Party, we don't promise what we cannot deliver. And Ryan is one of those people who we are working with. So you will get a real economist, no mock economist like Sinclair, no walk-up minister like the Minister of Education, no customer like the Minister of Agriculture, and no dead politician like the man in the East. So tonight I bring you Ryan Strong to the platform for you to hear from Ryan. Ryan.
Stand up. Bring the change. Barbados Labour Party. Tell me what you want. B.O.P. Tell me what you want. B.O.P. Tell me what you want. B.O.P. Louder. B.O.P. Louder. B.O.P. Louder. B.O.P. New government. We done with them. We want BLP. Let's rebuild this economy. More jobs and opportunity. Them ain't doing nothing for me. We want BLP, cause we need a change. People want new government. Tell me what's the name? B.O.P. Everybody come follow me. We want BLP. B.O.P. This is the right thing for me. What do we need? B.O.P. Louder. B.O.P. Louder. B.O.P. Louder. B.O.P. We done with them. We want BLP. Let's rebuild this economy. More jobs and opportunity. Them ain't doing nothing for me. We want BLP, cause we need a change. People want new government. Tell me what's the name? B.O.P. Everybody come follow me. We want BLP. B.O.P. This is the right thing for me. What do we need? B.O.P. Louder. B.O.P. Louder. B.O.P. Louder. B.O.P.
Good night, Vauxhall.
Good night here to the residents in Christchurch, East Central. 2 nights ago, the Barbados Labour Party launched its manifesto in our constituency of Christchurch, East Central. And I want to, first of all, tonight thank all of you who came out to Kingston on Thursday night, because I know that you heard what you came to hear. You heard a clear path upon which this country shall be rescued, how this country will be restored, and how this country will be rebuilt. Now I know that tonight a lot of you in Barbados, and certainly right here in Vauxhall, are suffering. A lot of people break. But as I told you on Thursday, you may be break, but you ain't foolish. And this Democratic Labour Party government would have you believe, they will have the gall to even assert that you are better off today than you were 10 years ago. I don't know which Barbados they're living in. I don't know which universe they're living in or which reality they're living in, but I know it is not ours. And so the policies that you heard and you saw and you've read in this manifesto have been designed to respond to the needs of every single Barbadian family in this country. Because as we have canvassed the length and breadth of Barbados, we have been listening to the people. Because there's one thing to look at the economy from a statistics standpoint. But when you canvass and you listen to people very carefully, you get a true sense as to how people have been impacted by the policies of this Democratic Labour Party. Big men and women in this country have had their dignities reduced. Because ordinary people across the length and breadth of this country, a lot of you never really had any problems paying your bills. You always had the opportunity to put a little something in the bank or the credit union. Yeah, you lived comfortably. And while sometimes things may get a little tight, there was always a way forward. There was always somebody or some opportunity that you could take advantage of to see yourselves through that rough patch. And in the last 10 years, ladies and gentlemen, we all know in Barbados that things have just been getting rougher and rougher, tougher and tougher, to the point where you are scratching your heads trying to figure out what is that you're seeing at the end of the tunnel. Is it light? Or is it the lights from a rushing oncoming train? You answer that question. Because under this Democratic Labour Party government, you have felt nothing but pain and suffering. No relief whatsoever for the people of Vauxhall. No relief whatsoever for the people of Christchurch East Central. No relief whatsoever for the people of Barbados. But yet this government and its ministers are driving around this country in luxury. 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 And to the extent that they would argue that they should get their 10% increase, and the country in which we live none of you in Vauxhall would have seen a significant salary increase over the last 10 years. Not a public servant, a nurse, a policeman, a school meals worker, a teacher. Not one man jack would have seen a salary increase in the last 10 years. But you have a member of parliament for Christchurch East Central who argues quite strongly that he deserves to get a salary increase and you don't. Compound that with the fact that many of you here in Vauxhall are either owed a tax refund or your reverse tax credit. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you understand the kind of people that you are dealing with under this Democrat Labour Party government. They have made life so hard for every single Barbadian right here in Vauxhall that they expect that then when they turn up a few days from now, giving away all kinds of stuff, that you would forget that there's a tomorrow. And that somehow you'll be induced into voting for them because they have relieved in their minds some immediate need that you may have. Now, we have to make a fundamental decision on May 24th. We have to affirm that decision we've already made on May 24th. And it is a simple choice in my mind. Simple choice. Because each and every one of you, ladies and gentlemen, each and every one of the members of your family, your neighbors, deserves the best that you can have in this country. I am fortunate because 20 years ago when I was at the University of West Indies, there were no fees introduced. Because if there were any fees introduced at all, ladies and gentlemen, I would have had to drop out. I would have had to drop out. And I know many thousands of other persons who would also have had to drop out. But it is because of the hard work of citizens of Vauxhall and the surrounding communities that allowed a Barbados Labour Party government to fund university education, because it is an investment in young people that pretty much determines how a country will function. And I know that youth unemployment right here in Vauxhall is very, 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 very high. And it's very high because a number of opportunities have been robbed or ripped from the grasp of young people in communities like Vauxhall. No programs were introduced to replace those programs that the Barbados Labour Party had put in place to ensure that even if you left school without any certification, that you could go to skills training. The Vocational Training Board, SJPP. Learn something that you are interested in. Get an apprenticeship. Get a job. And as soon as the young people get a piece of work, obviously, there's no money coming into the house. And when there's no money coming in the house and the young people settle themselves, after a couple of months, you start to make a little contribution. So that your mother or your grandmother, who still earning, now can use that money to do something else within the household. Ladies and gentlemen, that's how economies grow. Young people leaving school, getting into the workforce, earning a living, and helping to support the lifestyle in each household. Nothing magical, nothing complicated, simple, simple, simple. And so in the last 10 years, the problem with our economy is because this Democratic Labour Party government, they have failed to enlighten, they have failed to encourage young people or to provide the opportunities for young people to be able to get into the workforce. Because their idea of representation, ladies and gentlemen, because they claim to be the party of poor people. And so therefore when the Barbados Labour Party government puts things in place that people can get out of poverty, get out of being poor, that is a threat to the Democratic Labour Party. Because when there are less and less poor people every year, they do not see a function for themselves. Because they believe that people have to remain poor for them to remain relevant. And so therefore over the last 10 years, every tax that has been introduced, every allowance that has been taken away, were designed specifically to make each and every one of you poorer and poorer and poorer every year. Because they do not believe that they can exist as a political party unless people are poor. And if people are poor, they have to come to them to get assistance. And they feel a sense of pride from making people poor so that people have to come to them. Now, the Barbados Labour Party does not think like that. The Barbados Labour Party has always put policies in place which are consistent with our motto of delivering a better life for all of our people. And so our aim with every time we come to government is to make sure that whenever the people determine that they're going to change their mind, that there are less poor people than we found it. That is our track record. That is the success and legacy of the Barbados Labour Party. Because every time we've been given the opportunity to administer the affairs of this country, we have created wealth and opportunity for every single Barbadian family in this country. You all know it. You say it all the time, that when the Barbados Labour Party is in power, you just got some money in your pocket. Things does be happening. Young people has got work. You'll be able to put some money on the bank and forget about it. That does not happen by accident, ladies and gentlemen. It is because we sit down and we think through the kinds of policies that matter to ordinary people. And when ordinary people don't have to worry about paying bills, don't have to worry about sending the children to school, that young people then can leave school and get some work. That is what the Barbados Labour Party does for people of this, for the people of this country. And we shall make no apology, ladies and gentlemen, for doing that again. Because the people of Barbados absolutely deserves the best. We cannot afford the Democratic Labour Party. They are a waste. They are a waste of your energy. They are a waste of your vote. And so on May 24th, ladies and gentlemen, you have to get up early. Early. Make sure that you ease cross by Vauxhall Methodist Church. Early. Make sure you're there before they even on. Take the boxes off the bus so that you can see that they ain't got the skullduggery going on. And check them early. And make sure that you line up and get in there and make sure that by 10 o'clock the government change. Because these fellas, ladies and gentlemen, are a national disgrace. This is serious. Very, very, very serious. So this manifesto, ladies and gentlemen, is rich not just with ideas. This is not just hearsay. Because the Barbados Labour Party has always delivered on its promises. When the Barbados Labour Party has had the onward, the Democratic Labour Party tonight cannot bring anything to anybody in Vauxhall to tell you how your life has been improved over the last 5 years, furthermore over the last 10 years, that is concrete, that you could touch, that you could feel. Nothing. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I want each and every one of you in Vauxhall to remain absolutely focused on the mission that has now to be achieved nationally. Because each and every one of you and each and every one of your family members, you must now make a most fundamental decision about the future of this country. You must make a very important decision about the future of your families, because the two are inextricably linked. We now must take responsibility, ladies and gentlemen, for crafting a different future for Barbados. And the policies outlined in this manifesto are numerous. And the reason that they are numerous is simply because the government has made a complete mess of everything in Barbados that we knew Barbados to be. But fear not, ladies and gentlemen, fear not. Because the mess that this government has created, they will present an opportunity for every single Barbadian to participate in rescuing this country. Oh, there it is. This manifesto, ladies and gentlemen, and there's a section in here that I want to read and explain to you, because it is one of the most important elements of how a responsible government must look after its people. There's a section in here in the first 6 months agenda, the urgent agenda, and it's section 5. I won't read everything, but there are a few important things that I want to make the point to you tonight. Because it's important to understand the thinking behind the policy and how it would impact you and your families. So I'm going to take my time and I'm going to explain it. Under section 5 it says, helping people to live and pay their bills. Because I know, as I've canvassed many of you here in Vauxhall and indeed across this constituency, big men and women who never had problems paying bills now find themselves having to figure out which piece of which bill to pay. Put something back to next month and hope that you get a little berry to look after it. Hope that somehow or the other the light and power man don't pass too quick. Hope that the water authority man don't pass too quick. So there's a section in here, ladies and gentlemen, that is designed specifically to help people to live and pay their bills. Because big men and women must have a sense of dignity that they can look after the families. And under Barbados Labour Party government, big men and women in this country shall once again be able to look after the families. One of the things, ladies and gentlemen, that we're going to do is to raise the minimum wage from $6.25 per hour to $8 per hour. Why is this important, ladies and gentlemen? Everything under the sun in Barbados has gone up. Everything. Everything. And we're going to expand that. Not just the shop stores, but we got to make sure that it includes the security guards and other persons who still today only make $5 an hour. And people cannot live in this country on $5 an hour. We are going to raise the minimum wage to $8 an hour across the board so that people in this country who get up and work hard every day, people working in the gas station pumping gas, can get a piece more money in the pocket when the week come. Because it's important now that the persons who make the most basic incomes in this country, that you know are able to get a little berry to help ease the pain and suffering within your households. Because a government must look after the most vulnerable in the society. And in keeping with that, we are going to make sure that we raise the minimum non-contributory pension for the thousands of our people who helped to build this country, who are now only getting $155 when the week comes. We are going to raise that to $225 per week. And why are we going to do that, ladies and gentlemen? Because a lot of us have grandmothers and grandfathers who, you know, as they get older, the medical bills to take care of them get higher and higher. And so therefore we feel and know that it's important now that these persons are able to get an ease because they built this country. And having built this country, we, the government of Barbados, can make sure that they are looked after and are much more comfortable in their golden years. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to understand that every day somebody comes to Barbados to get a concession for some project. It costs millions of dollars, and the Barbados government does it because they say we need foreign investment and that they can create jobs and all of these things, and we give them tax concessions, costing you, the taxpayers, millions of dollars. But we do it because we need foreign investment. But if we can do it for people that don't live both here or know nothing about Barbados, then a responsible government has an obligation to make sure that the very people that built this country, as I said earlier, can live comfortably in the remaining years. Because this Democratic Labour Party government have made it possible now that these very old people have to pay for medications. Because even though they tell you that you can get it from the hospital pharmacy or the polyclinic pharmacy, whenever you go, they may got it. But you're sick, and you need the medication. So you're going to end up going to the private pharmacy to buy it. But the old people ain't got the money to buy it because they got to decide whether they're going to pay a bill or buy medication. And this Barbados Labour Party, of which I am a part, will put an end to that. Because the people that built this country cannot be now made to suffer because of a reckless Democratic Labour Party government. So we will give the old people an ease. An ease. Because you must take care of the most vulnerable in your society. And we make no apologies about that to anybody. And who don't like it, that is them business. But that is what we can do for the old people in this country. Now, many of you out here may qualify for the reverse tax credit. And it is now about 3 years, maybe 4, that none of you see a cent from the government for the reverse tax credit. They cap the NSRL from 2 to 10%, collect a wash pan of money, and not a cent has been given to the families in districts like Vauxhall who qualify for that $1,300. Now, I want you to understand something. They said they can pay the $1,300. They cut it to $650. I still can't get $650 into the hands of the people of this country. But let me tell you something, because it's important to understand how these fellas operate and how they think. A few weeks ago, they announced that they're going to increase it to $1,300 again. Right? Now, you know everybody, you just file taxes in April. And you just file for the reverse tax credit in April as well. So to make the announcement and tell you, oh, we put it back to $1,300 before the parliament. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Be careful. Be careful. Don't worry. You look like you died. You look like you died. My man, you still moving? My God, Mashi, you're Mashi good. Now, you see what you're doing there? That is exactly how we got to vote them out on May 24th. You understand? That is exactly what we got to do on May 24th. Be careful, though. Right. So I was telling you, before the parliament dissolved, they announced that they was going to increase the reverse tax credit again to $1,300. And many of you know that I put on some tax clinics in April to help people file their income taxes and for the reverse tax credit. And on April the 30th, for the first time in the month, I had the opportunity to actually go and help people do it directly. And I saw about 20 people that evening who came to my office who qualified to apply for the reverse tax credit. About 20. And every time I put in the information and I get on the computer and I click submit for the reverse tax credit, I see in this error message saying, please contact the system administrator. So I said to myself, but hold on, but if the tax thing gets submitted, why is it that the reverse tax credit ain't getting submitted? But then I realized, you know what? These fellas ain't just intend to trick people, to make you feel as if somehow or the other that you was going to get the $1,300. Because not a fella I was able to submit the claim for the reverse tax credit. So even though they made the big announcement that they're going to increase it to $1,300, and it's right there on the screen, you know, and the screen it's saying $1,300, and every time you click submit, error. Dashing the people's hopes. So ladies and gentlemen, I want you on May 24th, that when you go to the polls, that you put your ex next to Ryan Strawn to be the next duly elected member of parliament for Christchurch East Central, so that next year when you apply for your reverse tax credit, the money coming straight into your bank account. You don't see no contact, no system administrator. This Barbados Labour Party government is serious with the lives of the people of this country. This is not time to make sport. Every year under Barbados Labour Party government, people receive their tax refunds and the reverse tax credit in July or August, latest. So that by the time you get in to put your children back to school, you got that little piece of money in your pocket to help ease, put your children to school. That is what a Barbados Labour Party has consistently done for the people of this country. And Vauxhall is no different. Because we understand, ladies and gentlemen, how to use tax policy to help people to live. And so this section here, number 5, helping people to live and pay the bills is important. Important. And I never thought that we would live in a country where people who work hard cannot make enough money to pay the bills. You got people now working 2 and 3 jobs, which is unheard of in Barbados. 2 and 3 jobs. We are accustomed, ladies and gentlemen, you work one job, you get your money, you look after your family, you put a little stamp in the bank, You drink a few beers or whatever it is you do for your leisure and enjoy yourself. It's simple. You got people now scrambling about the place, picking here. And still, after all that picking, still bread. But you ain't foolish. So on May 24th, you go and show them. You show them. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a very serious election. Serious election. And the next thing I want to talk to you about tonight, about helping people to live and pay the bills, is important. Now, in Barbados, there are still about almost 5,000 pit toilets in this country. And one will think, and mind you, I want you to understand something here. Under the Barbados Labour Party, when we created the Rural Development Commission and the Urban Development Commission, those two entities were set up specifically, ladies and gentlemen, to help alleviate these poverty conditions for ordinary people in this country. Because we believe that Barbadians should live in dignity. And that if your belly carrying you at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning and the rain pouring, that you should go outside in the yard, fight up cockroaches and centipedes that you got out there to relieve yourself, and the rats too. Ordinary Barbadians need to live in dignity. And during that time, 14 years, those two institutions installed thousands of waterborne toilets across this country. And this Democratic Labour Party government, if you check the Urban Development Commission and the Rural Development Commission, them fellas down there when the day come cooking cocoa. Not a pit toilet. There ain't nothing wrong with cooking cocoa. Don't get me wrong, I love cocoa. But their job is to help relieve poverty conditions in this country. And them in the paper cooking cocoa with the taxpayers' money. So this Barbados Labour Party of 2018, ladies and gentlemen, intends to replace every single pit toilet that we can replace in this country. Because it is important that we now raise the dignity of the lives of ordinary people. But this is how we can do it. Because no big company coming to put a pit toilet on nobody's house. Because after they get and do all the precast work and run all the masons, all the laborers from getting a little pit building houses in this country, there are lots of masons in this country, a lot of small contractors now, who we will now encourage to come and get into this program and help relieve some of the suffering of almost 5,000 Barbadian families in this country, of which some of them are right here in Vauxhall and in Christchurch East Central, so that the money starts to circulate in the community. And once the money circulates in these communities, we will then start to see a little more vibrancy in these communities. But the essence of it, ladies and gentlemen, is to help people to live and to pay the bills. This is how you provide opportunities for people. You raise the pride of people, ordinary citizens in this country. And we shall get that done, because we shall encourage anybody to participate in it, because we feel that it is important that people from any communities are able to take advantage of these things. So that over the course of a year, a mason and a carpenter from Vauxhall may be able to replace 3 or 4 pit toilets a year, which at between $15,000 to $20,000, which the government will provide, would help provide a stimulus in local communities like Vauxhall. And in so doing, raise the dignity of ordinary families. Because a responsible government in the 21st century must ensure that its citizens are living comfortably. that the sanitation needs are being met, we are going to simply help people to live. Now, there are a number of other policies here that are designed to respond to the suffering and the needs of the people of this country. As I said to you earlier, we are going to abolish the National Social Responsibility Levy. And the reason for that, ladies and gentlemen, is because every time you go to the supermarket, you're crying. You're crying. Crying, man. And they even want you to pay for the plastic bags now. So besides the fact that there ain't nothing in them, they want you to pay for them. You used to be able to go to the supermarket with $150, $200. And you had to ask the 2 or 3 children that walk in with you to hold a couple bags. No, you just come out with 1 or 2 bags in your hand and the children ain't got nothing in them. And you still break. So we must remove that. Because it not only creating hardship for people, because the price of everything gone up, even on drugs. Even on drugs. You can't even afford to catch a cold in this country. We must remove it because it is something that is stopping this economy from growing. It is something that is stopping businesses from expanding. It is something that is stopping young people from getting work and people in general. And so therefore, anything that prevents the economy from growing has to go. Has to go. So that when you go to the supermarket, because let me explain what's going to happen. The wholesalers and retailers, they have stock, which they have in their warehouses that they paid the NSRL for when it came to the port. So once that stock has been drawn down over the course of 2 or 3 months, then you will start to see the prices drop. So it cannot happen as soon as it comes off, but there's going to be a 2 or 3 month lag period before which prices then start to come down, reflecting the fact that the new stock doesn't attract the NSRL. So fear not, because it will take the government working hand in hand with the private sector to ensure that once you get the ease, that the little money that you have will go a little further. And once the little money that you have goes further, you're able to buy a little more. And once you're able to buy a little more, the businesses, their revenues will increase. They might even hire 1 or 2, buy more and more and more, and it starts to accelerate. Then the government gets more revenue eventually than it did from increasing the taxes in the first instance. Ladies and gentlemen, this is simple. This is simple. And I can't understand why this Democratic Labour Party government would want to make your life so hard. But as I told you earlier, their purpose is to create poor people. Because if there are no poor people in Barbados, there will be no need for the Democratic Labour Party in their minds. But the Barbados Labour Party's mission has always been to create a better life for all of our people. And so I want you to read very carefully the policies in this manifesto. We shall have available the fuller version from Monday in print, only a few copies. I've already WhatsApped many of you the full version so you can check it and see for yourselves. But I want you to rest assured that under the leadership of Mia and more motley. That this Barbados Labour Party of 2018 shall rescue, restore, and rebuild this Barbados. That under the leadership of Mayor Amor Motley, that young girls in this country can feel a sense that they can be anything that they want to be. And that under the leadership of Mayor Amor Motley, that Barbados' name shall be respected in the world again. That under the leadership of Mayor Amor Motley, that every family in this country will feel a sense of dignity, a sense of pride. A sense of pride. Knowing that you can look after the affairs of your family. That you can plan your lives with relative certainty. And that with this Barbados Labour Party team, of which I am proud to be a part, that we will not just mobilize to win an election, but we must now mobilize for the mission of our lifetimes. Because with your help, on May 24th, we in the Barbados Labour Party shall usher in a new level of governance, a new level of competence, a new level of governing that includes you, the citizen. So you must hold us accountable so that we will deliver that which we know we must deliver for you. Because this is no game, ladies and gentlemen. The lives of ordinary people depend on the Barbados Labour Party to get this right. And so we are relying on you on May 24th to get up early, go to Vauxhall Methodist Church, put your X next to Ryan Strachan, put your X for the Barbados Labour Party, put your X for Mayor Motley to be next Prime Minister of Barbados. Thank you, God bless you, and good night.
This economy, more jobs and opportunity, them ain't doing nothing for me. We want the LP, cause we need a change. People want new government. Tell me what's the name? B-O-P. Everybody come follow me. We want the LP. B-O-P. This is the right thing for me. What do we need? B-O-P.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, all that I want to say, I thank you to all of you who have come out. I just want to borrow some words from some school mottos. And the Barbados Labour Party, whenever it comes to office, it is about respecting all of its citizens. It is ensuring that the foundation is built on truth and knowledge. We're not like the jokers. The BLP is not about self. It is about for all Barbadians, all citizens. And we know that come May 24th, with your help, we, the members of the Barbados Labour Party, the citizens of Barbados, shall all build that ladder by which we shall rise. So if you know, old people say all the time. Old people say all the time, if you have a man and he ain't working and you ain't like we doing, get rid of him. And if you go try 45 and 50, go on till you get where you want. Tonight we only gonna get rid of Raul Jones, because he ain't doing what we don't want, so we gonna get rid of he. We getting rid of he. So I want to thank all of you for coming out. I want to thank all the speakers we had here tonight, and for all those persons in this community who gave us any assistance. All I'm saying to you on May the 24th, when you go to the polls and you vote for Ryan Strachan, remember that every vote for Ryan Strachan is a vote for Mayor Motley, and that we are putting a real woman in front to lead. We ain't more than mock women. So when people like talking them is sure what it is, we sure who we putting in front. I thank you, good night, and get home safely.
New government, we done with them, we want the LP.